Cause we are the ones been fighting for the right to vote. The right to vote. It's no place that seems safe. So they've been praying for the night to go.
Now, when did you receive your first doctorate? What was it in?
Oh, well, the first degree was in 1977. Bachelor's in history.
Yeah.
And well, it is history and economics. And then I went to Nigeria to teach. I went to Nigeria in 1970.
Hold on, you taught in Nigeria? I had
been
no
to the
idea
motherland, yeah, for all of the out there.
What?
Still seek a chance. And don't touch
I remember that experience.
Daddy done take me to the motherland long time.
What?
Yeah,
I
man,
had
but done
no
touch
idea.
down, man. Nigeria.
What did you
time.
teach in Nigeria though?
History.
History. And compared to what you have experienced, for example, in Jamaica, I believe this was probably your first time going to Africa, was it?
Yeah, it was the first time in Africa. I mean,
and what was that experience, that transition like? Were you, did you feel more at home? What was that transition like? And
do you feel out of place as a black person?
What was your personal state of mind at that time, time and place?
Yeah, that's right. I went to Africa. It would have been Zimbabwe, right?
Yeah.
Because that is the rebelliousness in me. Because in 1980, there was a bloody election.
Yeah.
The then PNP lost the election, and the JLP under Edward Seaga came to power.
Yeah.
I had regarded much of the changes wrought under the PNP to be vital changes, very important changes. The repeal of the Bastardy Act that we talked about before. Yeah. So you had the people saying no bastard under there again, as long as you are born of man and woman, you are as legitimate as anybody else. The nonsense about marriage being blessed in church, it's neither here nor there. Marriage is a consensual relationship between man and woman. Yet, or not with the church.
Yeah, don't got nothing to do with them.
Is what marriage is. The only illegal marriage is between man and beast.
Yes, agreed.
So the point is that after those changes, I thought that to have elected a right-wing government was totally out of step. So I thought to get out, go overseas where I think I can do something better. It would have been Zimbabwe because Zimbabwe had just become independent. Black majority rule had begun and they needed teachers. So I signed up to go to Zimbabwe. But the one for Nigeria came first. So I went to Nigeria, and strangely enough, I went to Nigeria, Kingston, New York, and New York to Lagos. You know what the strange thing about it is? It was Pan Am, which no longer exists. And the aircraft was Plymouth Rock.
We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. that is ironic.
Yeah, that's what ironic. So landed in Lagos, but that was not the final destination because where I was going is a place called Calabar.
Oh, I've heard about Calabar.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
As a child, I went to Calabar Primary School.
You see our life link up?
Exactly.
Life link up, you know? Yeah, life always link up.
Primary, right?
Yeah.
And before I went to Calabar, before I went there, I went to Calabar from Calabar High School. So I left from Calabar Primary School. I taught at Calabar High School on Reddy's Road. And I landed up in Calabar. That's the capital of Cross River State then. It's now changed because you now have a Calabar State.
Okay.
And taught at one of these institutions, newly created institution called School of Basic Studies, somewhat similar to our.
Was that a Catholic based or was that Christian based funding?
No, it was a state created institution.
Okay.
The state created those institutions in order to transition some of their students from high school into university. So you would go to a school of basic study and you studied after you have completed your 2 years or thereabout, then you transition into university.
So is that kind of like getting your AA, your 2-year AA, and then getting turned into your bachelor for a higher degree learning?
That is it. You could go to any of Nigeria's quite a few universities, very good institution. So I taught, of all things, history. And someone would ask,
history in Africa. A Jamaican man teaching history in Africa.
I remember going to, well, I remember turning up at the institution and meeting the vice principal who said, well, I was waiting for him in his office.
Did they speak English or did they speak
yeah, English?
English there.
So
but I'm saying some of them, they come out, like when you go to Jamaica, people be like, yo, Rasta, I'm talking to you. And even though they try to turn up the Jamaican on you. They try to turn up the Jamaican on you, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So, when he first they could have been like, we're going to talk African, so he don't know what we're talking about.
But I think that's the strange thing for the vice principal, as well as for me, was when I was called by the secretary, Mr. Patrick Smith, and I got up and she showed me to the office and I entered the office and he looked up and said,
"You're a black man."
"You're Patrick Smith?" I said, "Yes, it's Patrick Smith."
Yeah.
I said,
You're
"What?"
expecting someone white.
Yeah. And Patrick and Smith.
And he was saying, "Oh, I was looking for," and I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but that is the same experience for the students, because here I am in Nigeria teaching African history.
From Jamaica.
Guys say, "You are from Jamaica." So you say, "Yeah, I'm from Jamaica." But the strange thing is that in that time saying, "Oh, I'm from Jamaica," the only thing is, "Oh, Bob Marley and Wailers."
Yeah.
That's all they know. That's it.
Still today.
Yeah. They don't know the beauty of the land.
But the experience was great. It was great for me. I don't know about the students, but it was great for me. It was great for me because
it was great for them too, I promise.
I remember,
I've known you for a while. You're a good guy.
I remember having to call the roll and calling the roll of and students. Some students, because I definitely made an effort to ensure that I can pronounce this guy's name properly.
Oh man, I bet that was fun.
Some of them are easy to call because some of the girls' name Blessings or
Yeah. But have you ever seen? There's an episode. There's a TV show called Key and Peele that, and in the TV show they do a teacher. He's a substitute teacher. He walks into his first day of school, and he's trying to call all their names out.
Yeah.
And that was his problem. He's like, I'm calling the names exactly how they spell D-Nane. That's Dwayne.
And that is the issue, because when it comes to the African name, many of these people were Efik. Southeast Nigeria, you're Igbo, Ibibio, Efik, and others. So it's a matter of really
where you're
being
from.
able to pronounce the name. So you will find that you call a name and don't get a response.
Who am I calling?
And they say, "Well, that's not how my name is." You say, "Okay, you pronounce it for me." And that is
Get a little cut up on
For the
interruption.
first time in my life, me to ensure that I got. But I guess we had a good relationship. I guess many of them become, so how do you know about our history? And it's mainly because that at University of the West Indies,
We're having a little internet
Technical
disruption.
difficulty. No problems. I'll keep it going. Well, JD,
Yeah.
Daddy gave us tons of information, and when him come back in, we're gonna keep on going. But I'm telling you what, man, to realize the difference in that time and this time, but still see all the similarities that are still going on.
Yeah, that's just
it
heartbreaking to me.
Yeah, I the same thing I said, JD. It kind of
Heartbreaking.
stressed me out, my youth.
Yeah,
You know, so the same
because
thing Daddy got through in a 1960.
all it shows is that we're not progressing.
Not manly.
We're not progressing. Exactly, as human beings, we're not progressing.
Yeah.
You know? And that's just unfortunate. Okay, so I believe Uncle is back.
I think we had a break or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm back now.
Good.
Uncle,
yeah.
With all your living and all you have experienced in life, you're now, I believe, at a stage where I think you're placing importance on legacy, right? What kind of legacy would you want to leave behind, or would you want to leave behind for the Smith family and for us to remember you by? And how are you going about, leaving that blueprint?
Well, one important legacy is to ensure that the Smith know their history, know where they are coming from, know their forebears. That's why I'm painstakingly, I hope that by the end of this year, I will have established the basis of the family tree.
Yes. Wow, that's amazing.
The other thing I want to is, well, what I'm proud of, which is not my doing anyway, is, and there are 10 of us as children of Philip and Myrtle, 10 of us, 7 boys, 3 girls. As you know, we have lost one of the brothers, that's JD's daddy, and now recently
R.I.P.
of the girls.
Auntie Polly.
I am trying to, all the generations that have come behind. Now, there are 2 generations after me. And I have to ensure that, of course, we preserve this. What we want also to do is to ensure that those of our brothers currently who are not brothers and sisters who are not as fortunate as we, as in the first 3 of us, that's really Earl, Orville, and Michelle, that we ensure that they do not fall into economic or social ruin. That we have our obligation. It's one of the issues about family is that that's how they say a chain is as strong as its weakest link. So it is for a family. A family is as strong as its weakest members.
Yes.
And therefore, we have an obligation to those members of our family who are experiencing difficulty. Yes, we have achieved certain things in life. Our daddy, especially our daddy, Philip, usually places a great premium on education. He believes that without education, you really ain't got anything. Hence the emphasis on the development of the mind, and that once you have a good education, you are assured essentially
a place in life.
Place in life.
Yeah.
And that, yes, we are trying to do. So I am particularly pleased at the success of that generation which comes after me. That is my children, children of my brothers and sisters, that they are able to hold their own, right? And to that end, really, I am prepared to support, give as much support as I can, and to help where I can. But for lasting legacy, really, is to write about this family, right? In writing,
leaving a story.
Yeah, that's an amazing idea.
That is what I want to capture. In the page, it is easier now because I realize that, of course, I can go on the computer and write as something comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike a book where you have to be looking here, there, and everywhere, you file it and you can get back to it to continue the story.
Technology.
So even if I don't finish it, I would have created enough on which future generations can build. And this is a very important point, in life.
Yeah.
Once you have built a foundation, the superstructure can be built by anyone.
Yes, yes. Once you have
I
the
believe
ground
in that.
laid, me too.
Yeah, I definitely believe in that. And I just have a small question out of curiosity. I don't know how far in you are in your research, but I've always wondered, but never got the chance to, find out where our bloodline, our family line, where does it begin? What country, what area?
Africa, start, and then London, pan Jamaica.
I've always wanted to know that.
I think on that score, we are one hell of a mixed up bunch. And I say that because our daddy usually speak about his father. And his father was affectionately called Uncle Cooley.
A coolie, man. That's how we get this nice brown complexion, ladies, is the coolie.
So
Cooley Jr.
He was called Uncle Cooley. And we notice the facial structure and the ear.
Yeah.
His mother, who was called Aunt Florrie, was reddish. I can't.
So like almost like a Arawak mixed with Arawak.
Yeah, that is, and so what? According to Polly, your late aunt, she used to speak about her being Jewish, which is something that I have not yet explored. Because really? One of the things that I've been trying to do is get to the record office, or register of birth and death. Yeah. Once you find her, then you can find who her mother at least was, and you keep going back.
Back and back and back. Yeah. Heavy. That would be so amazing because Daddy, like I said, once you lay the structure down, I promise me and this man and the rest of us, we'll take it and run with it.
One of the things that is great about this is that the laws in Jamaica, right? In 1816, there was this compulsory registration, right? But the registration of children of slaves was usually done on the plantation. So you have the plantation records, Spanish Town. It's one other thing that slow up all this process because of this COVID crap.
Yeah.
We are in so many of these places are not accessible.
True.
But it is not difficult to trace, and the registrar of births and deaths can and has given us quite a few, so we are able to trace daddy, his father, or at least his mother, because children are registered unless they are born again, and if they are born in wedlock, then you will have the name of both.
But if not, then it's just the mother.
Then they are only maternal. But we can cut through quite a
well, Daddy,
few.
Don't give them all our family business. Slow it down. Don't give them all of it yet. But here's a question. Here's a question I have for you, Father. You've created a legacy outside of your family, and that legacy was created as a teacher, as a helper, as somebody who wants to see not just himself forwarded, but others forwarded too. What kind of legacy do you want to leave for teachers and the environment that you've created that legacy in?
Or in teaching, really, it's a great obsession that, especially when I went to teach at a teacher training institution, is that never accept everything you read or see. Always question it. So for me, it's critical thinking. Debunk quite a lot of the things that you hear. Anything you hear, anything you read, anything you see, always ask a question, why? Why? Right? So don't take anything at face value. And this is what, for me, critical thinking debunks what we call hagiography. Hagiography is the idea about sacred literature. I don't accept sacred literature. Therefore, the Bible for me is just another textbook which is to be subjected to the same inquiry and criticism as anything else.
Yes.
Right? So the other thing I have spent the last 25 years doing is advocacy. Trade unionism, teachers' rights, that for me is very important. I have become intolerant of teachers being dismissed from their job because of some frivolous issues. For example, you may be at a church school and the church determines that this or that must not be done, that you must wear your dress in such a way. In Jamaica, we still have this crap. And I believe that what people wear is an expression of themselves. It's a critical expression of themselves.
I can't believe them still wear uniform in Jamaica.
Well, yeah, students do. Some teachers do. Right?
That's crazy.
But the rights of individuals, for example, even now this issue, that one of the matters I'm fighting is the issue where the government may or has hinted at compulsory vaccination of teachers. If we want to be able to go into the classroom in September face to face, then teachers must be vaccinated. Mind you, there's no vaccination for children, but children can be carriers. So I don't know how vaccination of the teacher may prevent the teacher from passing it on to the student if this teacher has it.
And the vaccine doesn't stop it from being passed on, so the student can pass it on right back to the teacher if the teacher actually take our mask off and not paying attention.
That's the point. So
and vice versa.
Yeah.
I have always been a rebel. I rebel against those things which do not, right? I think everything must be subject to reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Or it has no, I am not going to accept a thing on faith. Right? It cannot be just on faith.
No, I'm tactile. I need to I need to have something I can hold on to believe in something. I have to be able to, you can't just tell me, say, yo, if you jump, you're going to survive. You have to tell me why you're going to survive. You see what I'm saying? And that's how I believe to that. It's not just, you can't just go off of faith. It took me a while to get to this point in my life, Father. You see what I'm saying? I didn't pick up the tools that were given to me at a young age. I dropped them and I run on my own tools. So it took me a while to get to the understanding that critical thinking is the most important part of life. You know, if you don't think critical about things, you will go for almost anything. You will fall into any trap. You will fall into potholes that you shouldn't fall into because you never took that time just to take that 1 second to say, hold on, is this it, or is this what it's supposed to be? So
I would just to add something on that. I really agree with what you're saying about critical thinking. I do believe that it's something that you really have to add this to every aspect of your life. You understand? Because if you're not a critical being, if you're not using critical thinking in life in general, you understand, it's merely impossible to even find out or figure out who you are as a person, because you'll just run with upbringings and teachings of such and things like that. And you know, a lot of people find themselves living under these state of minds to reference to our show. You understand? Without even taking the time to find out who they are as a person, what their beliefs are, and stuff, and so on and so forth. So it's very important to use critical thinking in every aspect of your life: business, personal, religious, every aspect.
And this is the thing. This is the thing about life. You know, is that Hitler burnt thousands of books. The Romans burnt holy
book. Christians burn holy book.
A good deal of the literature which was created by so-called uncivilized people were burnt.
Mm-hmm. Tons of history lost.
Why do you burn books?
To stop the truth from being spread.
Right, but here's the situation now. What do you burn today? You burn the internet. Huh?
You burn people. The internet. You burn people out for their opinions.
The issue really is that we have moved from an era in our history of information deficit by dictators burning
to too much information
and forbidding and censoring.
Having way too much.
So an era now of information overload. So this is truly the age of information, because nobody can keep it from you. What, if anything, you will drown in information, some of which is false, but it's information nonetheless.
I saw me tell them that about a week, about maybe 2 or 3 shows ago, I was saying the same thing, is there's no excuse for not knowing. Not in 2021. In 92, there was an excuse for not knowing.
And that is where, more than anything else, your mind has now got to be like a sieve. Getting rid of. And the thing is, like any sieve, you will have sifted and you say, okay, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to throw away. But even in what you throw away,
there's still some gold.
Are some iota of facts that we would have missed. And even in that which we seem to have sifted and say that we'll keep, are also some grains of falsehood.
True.
That we ought to. And you therefore, you become your own editor.
After this,
when you read the newspaper, you're also reading the editorial. It's what the editor decides that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So when you accept what the editor wants, you are accepting the editor's censorship.
And his view of whatever it is.
In our age, it is, we have the right of self-censorship. We can exercise our right as censors, as editors. And that is the point.
Yeah.
So whereas in yesteryear.
All right, Daddy, a question for you real quick. Sorry to interrupt you again. As we're getting ready to close out the show, Father, I want to ask you 2 major questions, and I want you to give me the brief of what to see is may I say. Do you believe that the way that you found your self identity is not, I don't know if that is the right way, but the way you found your self identity, could that way be applied to the people today to use to find their self identity because of how the times are different? And does your legacy mean more to you now today than it mean to you when you were 50?
That's a complex question, very complex. And I'll tell you why it's complex. It's complex because I have found, but I'm still searching. I have an idea about me, Patrick Roy Smith, but it's almost as if I have not yet completely found that entity. Because the more information that I get, the more I'm applying it. So it's like the whole process of education which doesn't end. And the personality that I know is Patrick, certain situations which come up, which forces me to act in some way. And then I very much become annoyed and say, why the hell did I act in this way? Almost to say that I did not expect myself to act in a particular situation. So put it shortly is that I have a personality, some of which I helped to build, some of which was built outside of, because it is circumstances which shape you. And really, if you should ask me how I would react to a situation, I would maybe be able to tell you that I'm not certain. So this complexity they call me,
yeah,
I am not certain that I'm fully aware of all the things that I am. That may surprise me.
Now, with that being said, Daddy, does that make you feel like your legacy, how you felt about your legacy at 50 and how you feel about it now, does that make you feel like you really need it more now than you needed it when you were at 50? Like at 50, you probably felt more grandeur, like, yeah, I got, versus now you're like, well, I'm no longer president of Jamaican Teachers Association, you know what I'm saying? Does your legacy feel more of a burden, more important to you at this stage?
The accumulated knowledge is fine. The friendship, they're fine. I can see the legacy in the fact that I'm able to give back and to inform a generation. For example, we are looking forward to conference next week, Monday. I can point out that I have assisted in the grooming of some 10 presidents, right?
Oh.
But I can also show that I have assisted in the development of certain policies and decisions. But the strange thing about it, just as I've been saying, is that I'm also assisting in the reform of many of these policies that were made. And this is the developmental aspect of it, and which brings me to the idea that is any man complete?
Right.
That is my thing. So,
because you're always looking as a human being, even to this day, I'm about to be 40 next month.
If you're always adding to something, even something that you have done.
Yeah.
Where is completion?
Change, if I may add, change is known as the most constant thing that has to do with a human being. You understand?
Absolutely.
A human changes every second, every day, every minute, every hour. You know what I mean? And we say that if you're not in a constant change, well,
Crazy.
you're not progressing as a human being.
You're crazy.
Because to me, when I hear you say that, I think it's normal. It's very normal, and it shows that you are a constantly progressive human being in your thought structure, in your actions, and in everything. And I believe that's the best place to be in your life.
It's always, you're right. No, I heard somebody saying the other day, they said, so I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said the other day, he said, life, if you have a life where you got the silver spoon in your mouth the whole entire life, you're never going to be a real person. You're never going to be able to handle life, because life is filled with ups and downs. There is going to be chaos in your life. You will never live peacefully. It's the constant change. But when you get used to that and you accept the constant change, then it no longer becomes the chaos, because you know change is coming. And then you get to learn how. And then now I'm learning that I learn how to roll with the flow instead of fighting it all the time. Because I know it's coming.
And also always looking forward to the unknown, because the future is unknown, and the unknown is what
keeps you going.
Is what informs you of who you are becoming. You understand? Because
how you fit into
constant growth in life is a constant growth. And as Uncle Patrick said earlier, he sometimes question himself, because when he acts out of character, but the character is a constant development, and just as your being, so
it's a walk. Life is a walk, man. You just gotta keep on seeing stuff on the walk, and you gotta decide whether you're gonna step into that, miss that pothole. Oop, I fell in that one. What you gonna do? You gonna get up out of it, or you gonna lay there on the side of the road and let that pothole be the end of your walk?
That's why I tell people that I don't like comfort.
Yes, it leads to failure and destruction.
I am a restless individual.
Yeah,
I really do not like comfort.
Yeah.
If I get to, maybe that is why the people say that, of course, I have ADD.
That I said them tell me too, daddy. I like to be in that state where I know, like I picked this up from you, Dad. This I know for sure I picked up from you. I love to learn. I don't care if it's about dirt or how the sky became one. If I can learn from the bottom to the top, I want to know about it. But I'm like this too. I only want to know about specific things, which kind of limits my range. So you see what I'm saying? But that's it. But here we go, guys. We're getting ready to close it down for this episode. We want to thank my dad, especially my dad, Mr. Dr. Smith. I want to thank JD, my cousin. Again, last week, guys, we put our show out, but we didn't get a chance to have the show on YouTube because YouTube struck it down because we were saying too much against the rules. But you know what I'm saying? All we spit is facts. So it is what it is. We're going to take that for this. But our Auntie Polly passed, and we had a moment of silence in our last show that we didn't get to respect for her and send up to her. Me personally, I celebrate death differently from everybody else. I see it as I miss my auntie. I love her to death. I'll never have another Auntie Polly, but she's in a better place. She's no longer suffering. She's no longer going through what she's going through. She don't got to pay bills no more. She got to worry about all this foolishness on planet Earth. So at the same time, I feel blessed for her being out of this. So if we could, family, could we have a moment of silence as we respect Auntie Polly, her passing, her love, and her memories? Thank you, family. Thank you. Guys, like, subscribe, and share. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget the community, man. Global State of Mind. JD.
Don't forget to check out the Facebook channel, the Instagram channel, Global State of Mind, all platforms.
Yeah.
And we'll be back for our next episode soon. See you. Peace.
Peace out. Worldwide, people. Global State of Mind. Thanks, Dad. You're the best.
Okay. Great rapping with you guys. All the best.
Thanks.
It's got to be, I'm proud of me. That's why I'm steady moving on despite the hatred. I get better every song, man. It's got to be, I'm proud of me. If you don't like it, move along, get the shaking if the bacon ain't involved. Man, it's got to be, I'm proud of me. That's why I'm steady moving.